Do you want to be a savvier shopper and save money?
Welcome to Super Shoppers, the programme that shows you how.
We lift the lid on big brands and retailers so you can get the best possible deals.
Go. This time on Super Shoppers. For hands that wash dishes, we put Fairy's longer-lasting claim through the ringer.
There are products out there on the market that perform just as well as them.
With clothes sales slumping, could in-store experiences tempt us to spend big on the high street again?
I shouldn't have, but I bought something. It's bikini for holiday.
Read all about it! And readers' offers. Should we believe everything we read in a newspaper?
It's extremely important that if you're making comparisons, you make them clear. If you don't make them clear, then consumers can be misled.
Plus, when we delve into baby food, we find some unexpected ingredients.
How do you feel about that, girls?
Horrified.
Yeah, horrified, yeah.
Bargain hunting, guilty pleasure, retail therapy. Call it what you will. Lots of us love to shop. But could the unthinkable be happening?
Whisper it, ladies. We're actually spending less on clothes and shoes. It seems as though shopping for fashion is, well, it's going out of fashion.
Last year, we spent over £1 billion less on clothes and shoes. This, coupled with the online shopping trend, has had a massive impact on the British high street. M&S saw their biggest sales fall. French Connection haven't been in the black for 5 years, and Jaeger has gone into administration.
So if we're not splashing out on clothes, what are we spending all that spare cash on?
Tamara Sender is the senior fashion analyst for market researcher Mintel.
People are spending much more going out, eating out.
Why do you think that is?
There's much sort of a desire for experiences.
Which stores up and down the country are responding to.
They're having to really find ways to really encourage women to really come in and visit their stores and spend time there. Retailers are having to create sort of unique shopping environments.
So in what way? What are they doing?
So next, for example, they're looking to incorporate a florist, an upmarket restaurant, a Prosecco bar. Retailers such as a Trainer, retailers Superga, has artists in stores. So you can actually pick up a trainer and get the artist to paint it for you.
Wow.
So it adds a sort of a new layer to shopping.
This is something that is absolutely tailored towards you.
The clothing landscape, the retail landscape has changed irrevocably, and consumers are now demanding much more from retailers.
Activewear brand Sweaty Betty offers free in-store classes taught by sculpted brand ambassadors who just so happen to be modelling their
Float
latest
the left
ranges.
hand down. Keep your eye gaze up towards your top hand.
I'm easing myself in with beginner's yoga.
Inhale. The eye gaze comes forward, out in front. And as the chest lifts, the spirit rises.
And while you're searching for your inner guru, this is still a shop. You can't help comb the shelves for that perfect workout combo. So what do my classmates think?
This is the first time I have done yoga in a shop. So is this the kind of event that would get you out into the high street shopping a little bit more?
It's quite inspirational to see the clothes like on somebody, especially if they are, you know, a figure that you look up to, and seeing how the clothes actually work on a person.
So
like real life models.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I much prefer to actual models.
She's got a point. You might flap your way through your first class in saggy joggers, but the instructor's jazzy leggings are sure to tempt. After all, you earned them, right?
You get to meet different people. Different people come to different classes and you get to know them. Same people come to some of the classes.
So you get to make some friends as well.
Grace of an angel.
I really can't do that.
So will in-store experiences turn Britain's ailing high streets around and tempt us to spend again? Students Katie and Vicky, who share a passion for fashion, have agreed to recce Britain's most famous shopping street.
Really looking forward to seeing what the high street has to offer us. So we're seeing what new things they're doing now to entice customers.
While the biggest names on the high street are doing all they can to get customers through the doors, they were less keen on letting us in to film. So we asked Katie and Vicky to sample and report back. First up, River Island's complimentary style studio, complete with a personal shopper.
We went into sort of a VIP area in a way, and then she just was like, oh, do you want a Prosecco? And then we got kind of ushered into a room, trying loads of different outfits.
I would probably shop there again now.
The Prosecco was great as well.
Next, high street heavyweight pop shop.
This is the most bizarre thing to have in a shop. I actually feel like I'm going on holiday.
And it's that holiday look the store is going for. Inside, they're even pumping the sweet scent of sun cream into the air. But the main event is a virtual reality slide, which transports shoppers to a whole new dimension.
You go over Oxford Street, and then you end up in a beach, and there's an orca whale.
The orca was my favourite bit.
Yeah.
And we spoke to one of the ladies. She said it was to promote their swimwear range, which I thought was really, really cool.
And it works.
I shouldn't have, but I bought something. It's bikini for holiday. Doing the whole virtual reality thing, maybe subconsciously it kind of got me in that zone of like,
Beachy mood.
And before heading home, just enough time for cheeky cocktails. In Oasis of all places.
Starting Friday early.
2 satisfied customers. And I've got to say, I'm feeling pretty zen myself.
Do you know what? Shopping experiences, they might just be onto something.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of newsprint on your fingers in the morning. Except more and more people now prefer clicking to flicking and are turning their backs on Britain's famous newspapers. Oi!
But many long-term customers are still very loyal to their paper, not only getting the news, but great offers like these promised by the Telegraph and the Mirror, both online and in print, which include everything from the super useful to the surprisingly tempting at massively knocked-down prices.
Andy, all those amazing things have arrived that we ordered.
Oh, brilliant!
Look at this. Now you see it? I don't. Now you see it? I don't.
What's that for?
Doesn't matter. It's incredible.
Well, look what I got. I got this amazing frying pan. It's got sections!
The lady who cooked his breakfast.
Us?
Seriously?
Joking aside, these newspaper offers are seriously tempting, often proudly boasting reductions of 50% and more.
Check out this snazzy spiraliser being sold on both the Telegraph and Mirror sites. Was $39.99, now just $14.99.
Unbelievable!
My thoughts exactly, Andy. So, just to check these deals were legit, we scoured the archive of both the Mirror and Telegraph websites. And here's the thing. We couldn't find any evidence of these items ever being sold at the higher prices. And we made a further discovery.
It turns out that both the Mirror and the Telegraph shops aren't run by the Mirror or the Telegraph at all, but by a totally different company called BVG Group.
Who own another online shop called Clifford James, which sells the same products at the same prices. But unlike the newspapers, make no claims these prices are heavily discounted.
Here's that spiraliser again, but on this site, there's one price of $14.99 and absolutely no mention at all of a higher price.
So are these deals ever deals? Or are the Mirror and the Telegraph spinning us a merry yarn?
Sylvia, can you just explain to me what the rules are around advertising discounted prices? For example, in this Telegraph shop here.
A was price must be a genuine price. What they've got on this particular advert is they have in very small print, a was price refers to the original selling price offered on and gives a particular website and in a retail store between November the 21st, 2016 and February the 21st, 2017.
The website they reference is cjoffers.co.uk. an elusive site which only comes up if you type the exact web address into the search bar. It doesn't come up on Google and, curiously, isn't listed on owner BVG's site either.
It's here, and only here, that you find the product listed at the higher price. So, can the Telegraph and the Mirror really rely on the higher prices on this obscure site to justify their discounts?
We've had to search really, really hard to find this higher price, and we don't know whether it's just a sort of holding page for being able to say it was sold at this higher price.
I think small print, it should be much clearer. I also think it's a bit of a risk to put a was price and a now price because it's implying this was the price we charged. It would be better to have CJ offers price, our price, and make a fair comparison that way.
Amen to that. But there's more to this scoop. While the Telegraph mentions the obscure comparison site in both print and online, the Mirror only mentions CJ offers in its actual paper.
Now, we discovered that when we went on to the Mirror online, they haven't got any small print anywhere where the consumers are able to do that crucial price comparison. What do you think about this?
I think it's extremely important that if you're making comparisons, you make them clear. If you don't make them clear, then consumers can be misled.
BVG Group told us there are strict measures in place to ensure our pricing complies with all current regulations. The discounts highlighted represent genuine cost savings. The same price comparison mechanic is used across the retail industry. Pricing information is made clear online and in print. However, we accept that due to a human error by BVG, an omission was made on the Mirror's Readers Offers website, which has been rectified.
The Mirror said, "We work with suppliers to provide good value products for our customers. The website is operated by BVG and we are in regular contact with them to ensure they provide clear and accurate information."
And the Telegraph told us, "We take great care to work with suppliers who provide our customers with clear and accurate information so they can make informed decisions on the products they buy."
Read all about it! Read all about it, madam! Read all about it!
Our advice, if you do fancy bagging one of these newspaper deals,
Lots of lovely deals inside!
make sure you read all about it so you can be confident the offer is as good as it sounds.
Newspaper, read all about it! No? All right. Anyone?
Since the 50s, Fairy Liquid has tried to convince us of its superior cleaning credentials.
And here it is today, still proudly boasting the same message at the top of the bottle, up to 50% longer lasting than the next best-selling brand.
So ingrained has that slogan become that a lot of us don't even give it a second thought. We assume it means Fairy outperforms the next best-selling washing up liquid.
But take another look. The comparison is being drawn with the next best-selling brand. So that doesn't include the supermarket's own labels many of us buy regularly.
So what is the next best-selling brand that Fairy is actually comparing itself with?
Well, surprisingly, today, that's Ecover, a brand with sales last year of £5 million, compared to Fairy Liquid's £125 million.
Go.
Ecover sells itself on its environmental credentials, not how long it lasts.
Be back in a minute. Fairy claim to last 50% longer than the next best-selling product, which is Ecover.
The claim itself is true, but when consumers are buying products like Ecover, they're considering more than just performance and price alone. So Fairy certainly lasts 50% longer than the next best-selling product, but there are products out there on the market that perform just as well as them, and at half the cost as well.
So Fairy's cleverly worded claim isn't much use to us consumers who want to know how it compares to the best performers, not the best sellers.
Luckily for us, every year Which rigorously tests products with some surprising results. They named the best performer as Fairy Platinum, the pricier version of Fairy Original, which came in at number 3.
So which washing up liquid was number 2? Guess what? It's Aldi's Magnum Premium Original, costing just 75p.
The Aldi product performed well in terms of foam duration, and of the 3 that we're currently recommending, the Aldi product is half the price of the Fairy product.
And the penny's dropping for consumers, who last year spent £32 million on supermarket own brand liquid.
We find increasingly that supermarket own label or discounter brands are performing just as well as those big brands. When we look at Aldi, across the last year, a third of the products that we've tested have turned out to be Best Buy.
Right, where have you been?
Oh, talking to which?
Oh, really? And what did they tell you?
Oh, some really...
We've got a dishwasher?
Carefully, we help our children achieve their biggest milestones. Their first steps, first word, and even their first taste of solid food. But household names such as these may not be what you think.
When it comes to Britain's most popular brands of baby food, sometimes the name or even the label doesn't give you a clear understanding of what you're really feeding your kids.
Take meat products.
So, call your product Lamb Hot Pot and it requires a minimum of 10% lamb. But add just one word to the front of that, like yummy, scrummy or creamy, and that lamb content can drop to just 8%.
So while you might think a word like creamy just describes the mouth-watering dish, its presence on the label also means less meat is required to meet the regulations.
The names are very attractive, but they are not really telling us what is in the foods. Babies have very high requirements of nutrients because they are growing very quickly. They need iron, which is a very key element, and we know that some of these foods have very low amounts of meat.
Even products with straightforward names aren't always straightforward.
Like these Heinz foods that don't contain the amount of meat or fish you might expect.
With only 9% fish, is there too little fishy in this baby dish?
While lamb and winter veggies seems to have only 8%.
Well, it turns out both are within EU requirements. Check out the back. Lamb and winter veggies is also called winter vegetables, apple and lamb. It turns out that's its legal name. And the legal name for Heinz fish, peas and potato is vegetables and fish. Since a meat or fish is not the first ingredient listed on the legal name, the minimum amount required drops to 8%. But hang on, the lamb dish has 22% fruit juice and puree. What's going on there?
The use of juice or fruit to make, in my point of view, these foods a bit more palatable, sweeter, so that babies like them better. They are going to be less likely to like vegetables when they are older. They are eating mostly apples, so that means they can't really learn to taste the different flavors.
And where there is fruit juice or puree, there are higher levels of free sugars, the levels of which parents should keep an eye on.
When we asked Heinz about their products, they said,
the quantity of apple concentrate and puree is clearly labelled. Apple puree is added to give texture and variety, while also contributing to the sweetness that adds to the food's appeal. Our savoury recipes are fortified with iron. We have strict nutrition guidelines to ensure they meet nutritional needs, are in line with the latest official health advice, provide the right texture for the baby's age, and allow a variety of different foods to be explored. Take Ella's Kitchen, the UK's #1 selling baby food, also one of the most expensive brands on the market. Parents are reassured by its healthy image, but we found some of their foods crammed full of sweet fruit puree.
Something that might surprise the mums of this Glasgow yoga group, all big fans of Ella's Kitchen.
She seems to really love them. They are so handy to carry around in your bag, and it's something that's, you know, not going to harm her in any way.
I find that they taste like what it says on the package, whereas some baby food, you know, they all taste like orange goop that doesn't really have any flavour.
But the reality is, while a product like red pepper, sweet potato and apple may sound primarily like a vegetable product, it's actually 78% apple puree. And while the apple does have vitamins and goodness, this dish also has the equivalent of over 2 teaspoons of sugar from natural sugars in the ingredients.
How do you feel about that, girls? Because, I mean, that's...
Horrified.
I'm really surprised.
You think that you're giving them something that's healthy.
The labels do all include clear information about ingredients and nutrition, including the amount of natural sugars, something that surprised these mums.
I mean, I feel quite guilty, to be honest, and I didn't really look at the sugar content. I mean, he would have a fruit one after his Weetabix, one at lunch, and then another fruit one after lunch, one for tea, and then fruit after tea. That's
5? She would get through 4 in a day.
Absolutely, about five a day.
That's the equivalent of up to 10 teaspoons of sugar a day. Not surprising when the natural sugars from fruit puree and Ella's purple one is equal to over 3 teaspoons.
While bananas and apricot baby rice, worryingly, almost 5 teaspoons from naturally occurring sugars.
And while natural fruit sugars may be healthier than added white sugar, nutritionist Anna Daniels has more bad news.
When it's processed, so it's blended or it's made into a smoothie, it's no longer encapsulated within the plant cell wall and it's broken down, and that means it's released into the bloodstream quicker. So actually these sugars are free sugars and we need to be, watching out for them in our diet because they can have a negative effect if they're in excess.
So perhaps the only way parents who use these products can really know their kids' food is good in every sense is to scrutinise the back of those packets.
Would you think again, given that they're tucking through 3, 4, 5 pouches a day?
Definitely.
Absolutely, yep. I think it's been quite eye-opening, actually.
Ella's Kitchen told us their products have no added sugar and use 100% whole fruit or vegetable, retaining the fibre, and never use fruit juice or concentrates. We have many 100% vegetable products in our Stage 1 weaning range. We always recommend babies eat a varied and balanced diet. Expressing the sugar content in terms of teaspoons is misleading. 100 millilitres breast milk would contain nearly 2 teaspoons of sugar. The purple one contains the same amount of sugar as if you'd made it at home. Likewise, banana and apricot baby rice, the sugar content would be similar if you made the product at home. Our products are for babies who are weaning, so pureed for safety reasons.
That's the end of this series, but the show will be back later this year. So if you've got a story you'd like us to investigate, get in touch at C4 Super Shoppers.